All that, a double dose of hot topics, and more as The View celebrates Season 8. The Apprentice's Carolyn Kepcher is telling the ladies why she hid her pregnancy from the Donald.
We'll be right back with The Apprentice's Carolyn Kepcher.
Carolyn Kepcher does not beat around the bush on The Apprentice, and the Donald Straight Shooter gives you her secrets to success in her new book, Carolyn 101. Please welcome Carolyn Kepcher. Welcome. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you.
You know this is my show, so you know I always weigh in as if I'm you when we come back here on Fridays. Last season, you were annoyed because the women seem to be using sex to move on with the challenges. And then this season, in a word, these ladies are catty as can be. Yippee, 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 yippee. They don't get along. You've actually said you were embarrassed to be a businesswoman seeing the way they all behave. Now, they haven't won lately.
They haven't won.
No. What are they doing wrong, Carolyn 101?
Well, they're not using sex to sell.
No.
So, you know,
That's
it's
good.
over there.
We moved on.
I think they're very intelligent women. And they're put in these extreme circumstances. And they're just finding it hard to actually get along. They're pointing fingers. They're being catty. And I know, again, it's a pressured situation, and I certainly wouldn't want to be there.
But the men aren't doing that.
No, the men are winning. The men are absolutely winning.
Yeah, but men aren't catty.
No, they're not
I mean, maybe they are privately, but and you don't notice it as much.
They get over
that's true.
things.
I think they do.
By the way, you don't dress like this. Look at those gorgeous legs. I know. Our audience is looking and saying, this woman's divine.
You really are.
Do you think you're tougher on the women than you are on the men when you judge them? Because critics have said that you are.
Yeah,
Maybe it's because you are a woman.
Well, I've heard that a lot this season, which kills me because since the very first episode, the women won, and then they haven't won later on. So how could I possibly be tougher on the women when I haven't, you know, or I should say, how could I be tougher on the men when the men haven't been in the boardroom yet?
Right. What about the situation that Gen C found herself in? She was fired from the show, and then she found herself fired from her real job after making some comments that were perceived to be, and rightfully so, anti-Semitic.
Well, what she said was, these fat Jewish women came into my restaurant.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, that whole thing was pretty unfortunate, and I can't speak for her company and what their decision
You
was.
could have taken it out. You could have cut it out of the tape.
We could have, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, this is a reality show. We try to show as much reality as we can. It's a very high-pressure situation, and she said what she said.
If you were her superior in her real job, would you have fired her and let her go?
I don't know. I hope I'm never in that position to even have to go there.
You know, you are a woman who has really made it. You've made it certainly on The Apprentice, but also in your private life. And the book is advice that you give.
Yes.
Advice 101. What is do you think the most important advice that you can give, maybe especially to women?
Well, I think the one thing I can say, because I've been there, I was very, very persistent in what I was doing. I found an opportunity. Not a lot of men can spot an opportunity. I found an opportunity, and I knew where I wanted to go. Failure was not an option, and I just persisted. And I had some good bosses, some bad bosses, and I just really wanted to. I knew where I wanted to go.
So number one is
persistence. Persistence, without a doubt.
Let me go to the book, because interestingly enough, you say in there that you are a straight shooter. Well, we all think of you as the straight shooter because you just cut right to the chase. But you were not a straight shooter.
I know where you're going with
the Donald on the cover. On one thing in particular, which surprised me, when you were pregnant, you did not tell your boss, Donald Trump, until what, were you 6 months?
I was 6 months pregnant.
The fact that you could hide it makes me want to punch you out, but I'm not even, I don't even want to go there. Exactly.
I'm having trouble now.
She felt the same way. Why didn't you tell him, Carol?
Well, it's not something I really planned. It was my first pregnancy, and I was just getting into the corporation. And I was really, just moving ahead, and it was I'm human. It was a legitimate fear that here I am, I'm pregnant. What's going to happen? I've never been pregnant before.
How long ago?
Well, let's see, my little boy Connor's 4, and my girl is 2.
See, so it wasn't that long ago.
Right.
No,
You didn't want to be put in the
ago.
mommy track box. because that's what often happens in corporations.
Yeah, and obviously I knew I'd have to tell him eventually.
Yeah.
Right.
But I said, okay, you know, maybe it's a little easier saying, all right, I only have 3 months to go instead of this long, you know, 9-month thing. I don't
You
know.
should have just waited. You should have waited for the birth.
Emotions.
you made it that
I'm
long,
going to be out for a while.
what do you think about the competition now? I mean, there are a lot of shows that are kind of like edging into your category. You have The
Yes.
Benefactor, you have The Cut, Tommy Hilfiger's new show.
Right.
Are you worried about the competition?
My Obnoxious Boss is coming
Yeah,
out.
my big obnoxious
I saw
boss.
a promo for that. I'm really not too concerned. I mean, the original is the original, and you really can't copy the original. I mean, you could try. I actually saw The Benefactor the first time it came out, and I have to say, when I saw the Jenga thing, I said, okay, you know, that's enough for me. I didn't get it. But I don't really think they have the same basis as we do.
But you didn't really know that this was going to work, because I read that when Donald first approached you with the idea of The Apprentice, you thought it was a hokey idea.
I said, it's so hokey. Are you really going to do this? I really did. And I had this vision of these 16 contestants running around the offices of the Trump Organization, you know, with the cameras looking at contracts. And I said, this is absolutely not going to work. Nobody's going to want to do business with us. And then, of course, Mark Burnett sat me down and said, well, actually, this is the way it happens. And it's out with other companies, or it's on the streets of New York. And I said, okay, this makes a little bit more sense.
And he just thinks so well. I mean, Mark Burnett is
He is a genius. Truly a
Do you
genius.
have time for your day job?
It's a little difficult.
Yeah,
It is a
bet it
little
is.
difficult, but I do.
Well, clearly you've been doing it very well.
Thank
Because
you.
Mr. Trump seems to be very happy with his straight shooter, okay?
Knock wood. Let's keep
And
it that way.
I'm happy with this show. Our thanks to Carolyn Kepcher. The Apprentice airs Thursday nights. That's tonight. And everyone in our audience is getting a copy of her book. We will be right back, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll see you then.